ladies and gentlemen. This is the first weekly player chat. Week 1, date is September the 15th, 2017. Project Renegade weekly player chat. Okay, so as we're here, we're gonna start off. We're gonna list the topics first of this week's weekly player chat. It'll be staff, map, and leader, and suggestions. So first, let's start off. Let's list our people here that we have. We have 40 Cal, which is the leader of the 327. We have Contort, which is also another person in the 327th. We have Dr. Gray from Shop. We have Sharp from 104th, and we have Vuda from Navy. And me, your host, Fleet Admiral Robert Quinn. Okay, let's go on to today's first topic, which will be staff. I'm going to go down the list. So, 40 Cal, what is your opinion on any staff member or all the staff?
Well, first off, obviously the biggest change in the staff was you becoming the head game master. I thought that was very appropriate because I haven't seen any of the game masters do anything besides you, and you were an admin and Riddick. The game masters have been doing nothing. Barely seen them on.
Okay. Any other opinions? Let's go down to Contort.
I don't really have much of an opinion. I do feel like the staff do their job well. I do.
Anything you got? Before, sorry to interrupt you. Anything you got to say? Anything you got to say? So
I will concur with 40 in the fact that I don't really see GMs save for you really do much.
Okay, let's go on to Dr. Gray. What is your opinions on staff so far from what you've seen?
Well, they have been actually outstanding job helping me and helping everyone I've seen. Coming to my aid when I'm in my darkest hour, including getting stuck 98% of the time.
Okay. Is that all you got to say about staff, Gray?
Yes, of course.
Sharp. What's your opinion on staff?
Overall, I think staff is pretty decent. I just think they should be a bit more harsh on bans because some players, as we know, cough cough WC, have been constantly midging and stuff, and he only got a 1-day ban after doing a lot more things than he should.
Okay. Anything else? Not Vuda, are you here?
Yeah.
So your honest opinion on staff, slam honest.
Best staff I've ever seen.
Okay, well list them off, please. Is that all you got to say? Just best staff you ever seen?
Yeah, probably the best staff I've ever seen.
Okay. Okay, so let's get on to our next thing, map. The map. So let's go down the list again. 40 Cal. How do you feel about the map?
I think the map is great and compact, easy to explore, but it's a kind of a meme is that we don't have an engine room. But it'd be nice if we had like an interactable engine room.
Yeah, let me interrupt you real quick. In the future, soon we'll have an engine room, we'll have a med bay, we'll have a more detailed jail, and we'll have a lot more things. So,
Nice.
map is still an alpha, just like the server. So,
Just to carry on, many things will be added. The map is only in its first edition. So let's move down on the Contort. Anything to say about the map? Pros, cons, anything you've seen so far?
All right, so I do love the hyperspace system. I feel that is a very custom and original thing to add. I do also concur with 40 in the fact that we do need an engine room, med bay, etc. However, I feel like there is something we could add to the engine room. I mean, this is kind of, or perhaps even just the bridge in general. This is kind of a standard on a lot of Vinegar maps, and the fact that you could shut off the power and add an alarm.
Okay. Is that all?
That's about all I gotta say.
Okay, Gray. Anything to say on the map?
Yeah, like how Contour said, we should have like powers, lights, alarms in the bridge, and I mean, yeah, the place, in my opinion, the ship is a little plain, kind of, but it would be greatly appreciated if you can get the engine room stats so the engineers could stop being like, hey, the back side is the engine room now.
Yes, it has been happening. Okay. Sharp, anything to say about the map?
I agree with the above. We need an engine room, med bay, more interactive features. Also, I think something should be added, like a training area with a firing range, and maybe a PT course or something like that, dealt with tryouts and training, and more bunks.
Vuda.
Main thing, fix those elevator buttons. Like, fix most of the buttons.
Okay. As we said, the server is only in its first. The map itself is only in its first edition. But okay. Let's see what else. The leaders of the server. So this is where you can really, go all out. Okay, let's go down the line again. 40 cal. What are your opinions on the leaders of the server, from captains up to generals to admirals to anybody? What are your opinions on the leaders of the server?
Honestly, I think we need to fill in more of the leaders. I know we just started, but also we need to start setting a better example for lower ranks, because recent events, the minging has been spreading. I am to blame at parts too, but we need to improve on being role models and being leaders.
Okay. Very respectable. Contour, you got anything to say about how the leaders on the server are?
I'll definitely agree with 40 on that. I do believe in some regards that certain leaders have not really been upholding the model trooper status that they should hold. Yeah, just kind of be an example, a model soldier for all those below you.
Okay. Gray?
Same thing the two cunts said. Sorry, pardon my language, but there's been a lot of commanders, not necessarily a lot, that have been minging in their own name, giving themselves a bad name, such as the engineer captain. I don't know what he's been doing.
Okay, Gray was the first one to point out a name. Okay, so you got Gray. I'll take that as a yes. Sharp.
I think the commanders are pretty good. They need to be a bit more strict about inactive commanders. It took like a week for Galaxy to get demoted, and I haven't seen a 212 commander on since the first Geonosis event. Commanders are overall doing pretty well. I've seen Slugger doing a ton today, but not in the past week. And I think Slugger should try and be more strict on his troopers. For example, earlier in training, they were trying to detain me, and what the engineers did to detain me is they just put all their barricades in me, and Slugger didn't even care. It's just like...
Okay. Okay, well, like you said, all this is being noted. Vuda, you got anything to say about how the leaders on the server operate?
No, not really, to be honest.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else anybody else wants to say? Going on the line again, 40, Contour, Gray, Sharp, Vuda, anything? Anybody got anything else to say before we move on to the next category?
I have an idea about a regiment.
Okay, well, that'll be in our next segment. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going into the suggestions phase. Let's start down the list again. 40, do you have anything that you think should be suggested or added to the server?
Well, I hope that we can have permanent weapons. Well, I know we're going to have weapon crafting, but I hope that they're like permanent and a decent crafting system. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Contour?
I don't really have a whole lot. I would definitely like to suggest perhaps more certification training. I know we're going to be implementing the squad system. It's going to be a little different, but when it is implemented, perhaps have a lot more training sessions, etc., so that people can get more certifications, and then we can have more specialized troopers around.
Okay. Gray?
What I do want to suggest is adding in battalions and use certain commands. Battalion I kind of want to add in is Shadow Company, and add in a few add-ons with it, such as cloaking. And for the certifications, like what one of them said, how we could have done it is not added in classes, but added in like certain groups that you can have. Backtest tools, so on and so forth. So you can have a heavy troopers, snipers, medics, and so on, without having to make classes for them for each battalion.
Okay. Sharp, anything to say?
First, I think for tryouts, I think Galactic Marines should have a hold on tryouts for now, as they're the biggest regiment currently on the server. They have 10 to 14 players, I believe, which is bigger than any other regiment but clone troopers. So they can give more players a chance to join more regiments, because just everyone's funneling into Galactic Marines, and it's kind of unfair to everyone else.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. I think 501st is the second, followed by Navy, and then CT's at the front, because basic CT.
Shock is about third place.
Also, can I say something else?
Yeah.
I think they should try and add more variation, especially with the squad update, as right now it's basically every regiment's the same, just different models, and that's about it.
I'm gonna point back to the alpha thing. We may make it sound like an excuse, but we are working very hard to make sure the server gets up to a better playable state than it is now. Make sure everything gets added. But like I said, it is in the end an alpha. You know, it's not beta; it's an alpha. Vuda, any opinions on anything that should be added to the server? Anything?
Maybe add a little bit more fluid maps because like some of the maps are kind of, you know.
Yeah, I get what you're coming from.
generic.
Okay, is that all? Okay. See, I'm gonna move on. Is there anything else? If not, any reports on anything you'd like to say, or if not, I think we're done. Okay. Thank you all for your participation, and hopefully we can see you next week. This
Thank you.
is Fleet Admiral Robert Quinn, Weekly Player Chat, end.